Hello, Paul Miles here, your host of the Psychic Today podcast. Now, before we start today's proceedings, I want to take this opportunity to ask you, our listeners, for a little bit of a favour. Could you please head on over to soulandspiritmagazine.com and cast your votes for the Soul Awards? Here to tell us a little bit more is magazine editor Rosalind Moody. How are we, Rosalind?
I'm well, thank you, Paul. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you for asking, my lovely. It's great to have you guys on board. So tell us, please, about these awards, because these are exciting times on your magazine.
Very exciting times. We are in the fourth year of our awards, but we are 13 years old as a magazine now. So we are celebrating 13 categories for 13 years of Soul and Spirit. And in that, half of that is the nomination side, which is where Psychic Today podcast listeners come in.
Oh, I love this. So tell me, Rosalind, how do they get involved, please?
So we have a few categories that they can nominate their favourite spiritual experts for. And if they go on to our website, which is soulandspiritmagazine.com/awards, then they can nominate any spiritual expert that they think deserves an award, from celestial expert to crystal expert to favourite brand and even psychic medium. So anyone that they've come across that have done amazing spiritual work for them, that they can finally give back to that expert and nominate them for an award.
What a great idea. So Rosalind, do our listeners have to go out and buy the magazine?
They don't have to buy the magazine. They're welcome to if they want, but this is completely free to nominate. And if they nominate, they are automatically entered into a prize giveaway. And that prize giveaway is a luxury 5-night stay in Vietnam, which can be redeemed in 2021 to give us all a well-deserved holiday. So yeah, soulandspiritmagazine.com/awards is where to go.
Rosalind, thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.
You too.
So there you have it, the wonderful Rosalind Moody, ladies and gentlemen, the editor from the Soul and Spirit magazine. So head on over to soulandspiritmagazine.com, hit the nominate now button. You've got 7 different categories that they need your help with. Let them know your favourite brands, your gurus, your healers, and you never know, you could win a holiday of a lifetime. More details in this June's Soul and Spirit. Right, it's time for the podcast. Hello and welcome to the Psychic Today podcast. My name is Paul Miles. Thank you very much for listening in to our little show. We are available on your favourite podcast platform, so if you do want to share and subscribe to the Psychic Today podcast, then you are more than welcome. So regular listeners of the podcast will have heard this lady on previous podcasts when we've been in the Psychic House. I'm very pleased to have her on the phones with me now. It is the wonderful Anne Scholes, everybody. How are you, Anne?
Hello, Paul. I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on today. It's lovely.
It is lovely, and it is a glorious day as well. Now, Anne, we've just heard the editor of Soul and Spirit just before you come on talking about the Soul Awards that are sponsored by Psychic Today, actually. So there is a category in there, Anne, of spiritual retailer, and I do know a few of our listeners have actually been voting in their droves for your little shop. And is it? Am I right in thinking? Is it in Manchester?
Yes, it's in Oldham Town Centre, which is northeast of Manchester by about 8 miles, and it's a quaint little shop just sitting on the outsides of the big shopping mall, which gives it its sort of lovely quiet energy and space. I opened it in Oldham. I have had a shop 7 years and moved into Oldham. So I've been there over 5 years now, which I can't believe. And you walk in and there's incense burning. It's very, very calm. It's very serene. You have the spiritual music on, and it's really nice when customers walk in and they just go, it's like, let go of all that stress and anxiety they've been carrying around with them in the shopping. So they come in for a quick, 5, 10, 15 minutes, and some have a chat, some purchase something, some book some of the services I do. So it's just a really lovely, lovely energy. Got lots of fabulous feedback on Facebook. The shop's actually called Anne, as in my name, Anne, Angelic Bliss. So we like to give people an angelic bliss experience. Yeah, the pun is, the clue is in my name.
No, I love that, and I really can't believe, Anne, that it's been going for all them years, because I do remember when you kind of first set it up. I remember you being in London, and I remember, because I think the candles and stuff came first, didn't they?
That's right.
They still a very popular item for the shop.
Well, sadly, the lady who made them, because everything, as you know, was handmade by a local lady, because I like to have local people involved. Sadly, she passed away 2 years ago.
Oh, bless her.
And I had quite a dilemma whether to replace the range or try and copy the range with somebody else. And I was so torn out of her memory, because she created it and it was such a beautiful product. And I kind of said to Spirit, you need to guide me. So if you want me to continue this, then bring me somebody in, or do I move on to something else? And so far they haven't really brought anything in, so I guess I've got to leave it in her memory. It was, one of those things that you do in time that just touched so many people's lives.
Yeah.
The beautiful therapy. But sadly, when you've got somebody that can do something so well, it's very difficult to get to replace it, So at the moment, no, but we've extended, because now I do all the Anne Stokes, the Lisa Parker ranges, from fairies, unicorns, Wicca, all sorts of different incense, loads of crystals, over 100 different crystals, plus all the lovely other rocks you can get, bracelets, necklaces, down to cauldrons. It's so diverse. Pendulum boards, pendulums, tarot cards,
wow,
Buddha heads. It covers every kind of genre in the psychic world. Books, chakras, and of course I teach as well to back that up. So lots of teaching. I teach angelic Reiki, chakra healing, the readings, of course. So overall, it's quite a busy little shop.
Yeah.
People love it. It's got that character to it that really people warm to,
Yes.
And people feel safe. They come in and they go, never really wanted to ask anybody this, but, and then they ask. And it's really nice, because people are sort of the inquiring minds that people have feel safe enough to be able to ask without feeling daft, because most people feel a little bit daft when they talk about this stuff at first, but have the most interesting conversations with people who are really into aliens and all sorts of different things, and we've had all sorts of conversations. So it's been an amazing journey and it's put me to the test, because some of the stuff at first I wasn't aware of, and so I've learned a lot through the shop, and it just helps so many people along their way, whether it's into doing and reading cards, whether it's becoming a healer, whether it's just wanting to heal themselves. And I think that's the most important thing we can do, is support people who want to heal themselves or recognize that they're not in the right place and they I'm not sure which way to go here, and give them guidance and show them, it's not all about having to do psychic readings. There's other things they can do, meditation, groups as well, sound baths. So we've done an awful lot of things, and I'm quite proud of it. It's been hard work, but I just love the energy of it. I come in the morning and I just sit down and I just go, let the door open.
Yeah,
let the people in that need it.
This is the thing, and I love that saying, build it and they will come. And it's weird, actually, because I know you speak about that that beautiful soul that made them candles that's no longer with us. But literally, I still have one that I burn in my studio. I've got a little studio, and I've literally got, I think there's about half of it left. And I put that on when I'm doing my Reiki. And funny enough, on the back of this little podcast, I've just gone live with Soul and Spirit magazine, and I actually had it burning in the background while I was doing my chakra drum meditation for their readers.
Oh, was it the square jar?
No, it's round.
Oh, I had 15 different types.
Wow.
I had Michael and Raphael and Heaven Sent, Metatron, Cheeky Cherubs. I had loads of different ranges of candles. It's just very sad. But I you know, when you're just not sure, and I'm just still not sure what to do with it. So I thought, well, I've handed it over to Spirit, and Spirit will guide me with that. It was definitely... I did the range. I started in 2012 with that, doing Party Plan.
Wow.
And there was only the four archangels in the range. And then I extended it, and it got, like I said, up to 15 different types of candles and sprays and protection sprays and things like that. So now I've introduced a range of just aromatherapy oils. Just, you know, your lavender, French lavender, mystic rose, all sorts of different little individual ones that people can buy. So I've now got a little aromatherapy range, but nothing like what I did have, because it was bespoke. That.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. But so remind our listeners, Anne, about the shop. So what is the Facebook page called? So if they want to come and visit.
The shop is called Angelic Bliss, which is ANNEGELIC Bliss. On the Facebook page, I don't actually have stuff on there per se, like a website.
Yeah.
I do advertise all my courses on there, but I will be doing live streams from the shop because of the social distancing situation we're in now. What I will do is take people around the shop so they can view the products and the prices, and we'll do it mail order. That's not a problem, because I've done a lot of stuff over to the States and over to Europe when I do the live feeds. And they'll be able to purchase things that way. And even if they've been thinking about something, you know, like somebody rang me up the other day and said, do you have any pyrite? I said, well, actually, I've just got it in. So, you know, people can just ask a question even.
Yeah, I've seen this so many times. A lot of people, especially now with this, with the lockdown and that restrictions are being sort of eased slightly at the moment at the time of recording this podcast. What I've noticed is a lot of sort of spiritual shops, not just spiritual shops in general, they are relying on maybe that sort of Facebook Live element to then walk people around the shop, and it works really well. It really works well. I think this could be the future. Yeah.
People can sit at home and view it. And then what I do is I take it one step further, that on Messenger, then I sort of show it to them in real time again. Yeah. And then I package it all up, show them the package that's going to the post office, so they know exactly what to look for when it arrives. So I do a little bit extra. I'm always big on customer service.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Definitely.
Yeah. So it's based in Oldham. It's the address of it really is just Angelic Bliss, and that is Oldham Town Centre, OL1 1LF for Freddie.
Fantastic. So guys, check it out as well if you're up in that area, or if you've got Facebook and you want to go on there. And remember as well, if you are voting, it's not just the shop that Anne Scholes does. Obviously she does lots of healing as well. She is a psychic medium as well, so lots of categories that you can, if you are stuck, for a vote. And obviously, Anne, you've obviously been with the Psychic Today show really since the conception of the show, haven't you?
16 years now, Paul. Never in a million years thought that anything like that would have been possible. it came to me. I ended up on the show thinking, crikey, I'd only just kind of opened up a couple of years before that, and being a true Aries, like a challenge, and it just went so well, and I was like astounded, and I've been there ever since. It's a little bit like a family.
Yes.
You know, again, people come back year on year on year for readings, and that is quite an honour. I always feel, you know, some people have a reading with me once a year on their birthday. Sometimes they come in and they've gone through another relationship. They're coming back about another relationship. And when working in my shop, I've had people coming in and saying, I spoke to you 10 years on the show, and yeah, you were right, you know, this thing that worked out, and here I am, and I'm all happy, and, you know, and I've just come back to let you know. It's just so nice when you get that. I mean, we don't do this job for that kind of thing, but it is nice to get recognised, and it would be lovely. And thank you to everybody who votes for my shop or votes for me. You know, I really, really appreciate it, because I think I do put a lot of hard work into what I do, and the shop especially. And so, yeah, and TV, 16 years, Paul, I can't believe it. It's
I
a bit
know.
stunning, actually.
It is frightening, because I mean, September. September. Because I started September 2009, so September this year, 11 years for me. So it's just it's so quick, and we've really had some laughs over the years as well. And so may it continue for you, my lovely. Right, I think we're going to have to wind it up now. We are coming to the end of the podcast. Guys, if you've got any questions that you want me to pass to the wonderful Anne Scholes, that email address that you can connect is podcast@psychictoday.com. That's podcast@psychictoday.com. Right, Anne, thank you very much. I do appreciate you chatting to our little podcast. I can't believe the time has absolutely flown. It really has. Right, my lovely, I'm going to love you and leave you. And thank you very much for chatting with the podcast. You take care.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Paul. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you. The wonderful Anne Scholes there on the Psychic Today podcast. So join me next week when we have another guest. So keep it psychic and stay safe, everybody. See you soon.
This podcast is a Glass-Faced Boy production for Psychic Today.